It's TK Friday and it's time for another full edit. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. It is TK Friday, my favorite day of the week. Today I'll be doing a full edit of this image of Driftwood Beach in Georgia. Today's image comes to us from Mike Polk. You can download Mike's image and the PDF notes and give this edit a try. I'll have Dropbox links in the description below this video, so go ahead and download the image and the PDF notes. If you have an image you would like me to edit on a TK Friday, go to the description of this video, click on More, scroll down through, and you will find a Contact Me link. Click on that link, contact me, and we can discuss doing one of your images on a TK Friday. If you don't yet own the TK9 plugin for Photoshop, I'll have links in the description below this video that'll take you over to Tony Kuiper's web store. You can pick up the TK9 plugin for Photoshop. There's training videos. You can save 15% off your entire purchase. Use my promo code DK15. There's also a bunch of free panels over there you can pick up. And don't forget, there's also the TK Magic Mixer. It's great for black and white conversions and working with color images. It's only $10. You can pick that up. And again, all of Sean Bagshaw's great courses you can find over there as well. And again, use my promo code DK15, save 15% off your entire purchase. When you use my promo code, I make a small commission, and this helps me to keep these videos coming your way. So thanks for using my promo code. I really appreciate it. All right, then, let's dive right in. Now, as always, I start out here in Lightroom, and I did use a linear profile for Mike's camera. Now, my goal here is to keep the image relatively flat. I don't want to overprocess it here in Lightroom, so I've just done some basic adjustments. And actually, I started out by clicking Auto, and then I just tweaked these adjustments a little bit. Like I pulled back on my highlights, opened up my shadows a little bit, make sure I'm not clipping my white and black point. If I am, I'll adjust my white and blacks. A little bit of vibrance, a little bit of saturation. Now, as far as detail, no sharpening. I did do some denoising on this image. Now, for lens corrections, I always check on remove chromatic aberration, enable profile corrections, and then for transform, I just clicked auto, and that just straightened up the image, and no crop in this image. And now it's ready to go to Photoshop, so I'll just right click on the image, go to edit in, and click on edit in Photoshop 2025. Now, in Photoshop, the first thing I want to do is do a balance and contrast of both sky and foreground as a starting point. It really helps me to really study the image and see which way I need to take it. Now, I really love this image. It's very calm and pleasing to the eye, and I think what I can do is see this beach area. The beach and the water are all the same color. So it's going to be a warm tone. The sky, I want to make it a little cooler because what I want to do is get some nice complementary colors going on this image. In other words, the beach and the water will have a warm tone to it as well as the trees, and that'll play off against the sky, which is going to be a little bit on the cool side. So I think it's going to look really nice. For the open, balance, and contrast adjustments of sky and foreground, just to save time, I'm going to use David Tillett's example Photoshop action, the BNC landscape action, so I'll click on it. And these actions came with TK9 version 3 as example Photoshop actions. Now, by the way, the PDF notes show you how to set this up manually in case you're wondering. Now, if you'll note, we're on the foreground layer. We have a color grading tool. We have shadows, midtones, and highlights. I'm going to start with shadows. I'm going to click on the shadow button, and what I want to do is just darken up the shadows a little wee bit. Normally, I would really pull these shadows back to like this, but we have these trees where they're soaked in water down here. They're on the dark side already, so we don't want to go too dark there. At least I don't. I'm going to go to like -10. Now, by the way, the edit I'll be doing today is the way I see this image. Now, you may see it another way, so by all means, edit the image the way that you would like it. TK Fridays are not about my edits, but you're seeing how I use TK9 in my Photoshop workflow. And I'm trying to help you to be able to embrace TK9 and bring it into your Photoshop workflow. And you learn from the various techniques and tips that I give you along the way. All right, then I've adjusted shadows. Now I'm going to click on midtones, and I do want to lighten up my midtones, so I'm going to drag this midtone brightness slider to the right, and I'll stop right here at 30. Now I do want to just warm up the midtones, so we'll do some color grading. So what I want to do, you see my cursor right here, I'm going to hover right around this area and give it a click, and that just warms up the beach here. Now it also affects the water and the tree, which is going to look nice because we're going to play these warm tones off of the cool tones in the sky, which will be complementary to each other. And now I'll click on the highlight button, and I just want to open up the highlights a little bit. And I think I'll go to right there, 40. Let me shut off this layer. Here's before and here's after. Now this is the foreground. Now let's work on the sky. I'll click on the sky layer. I'll start by clicking on the midtone button. Now I do want to darken up these midtones, so I'm going to take this slider and drag it to the left, and I'm going to go pretty far over to right there, -40. And I do want to cool off that sky a little bit. You see my cursor? I'm going to click like right here. Now we got that nice cool playing off the warm. It's really starting to look good. Now we're going to click on the highlight button. I just want to open up the highlights. I'll drag the brightness slider to the right. I don't want to go too crazy here. I think I'll go right there, 15. Now let me shut off the sky layer. Here's before and here's after. I really like that. Now I really darkened up that sky. So at the end of the edit, we're going to have to check the edges of these trees just to make sure we don't have any artifacting on the edges. We'll check that out at the end. It's a simple fix with a clone tool if there's a problem. All right then, moving on to step 2. Now I don't need this color grading tool. It's in the way of the multi-mask panel. I'll click the X. It just hides it and nothing changes on our color grading layers. The next thing I want to do is some mid-tone contrast. Now here's the way I do mid-tone contrast. Come up to the multi-mask panel, click this button right here. You're going to get a curves adjustment layer, and I like to use a preset for curves, so click right here. It's a drop down, and what I do is try various contrast curves, like here's increased contrast, here's linear contrast, so I go through these, medium contrast and strong contrast, and then I try to figure out which one may work. And in this case, I think it'll be medium contrast. We can always change it if we don't like it, so I'll click on medium contrast. Now bear in mind, I want mid-tone contrast. Right now it's contrast on the entire image. I only want it in the mid-tone. So here's what we do. Come over to your combo or CX panel and click this button right here. This puts a black hide all mask in this layer because I need to make a midtones mask and I don't want to base it on the contrast that is in the image. So putting the black mask on there takes off the contrast adjustment. And then come up to the multi-mask panel and click this button. You'll go into adjust layer mask. And now we have different luminosity masks we can try here and see the effect in real time. So I want midtones. Here's midtones 1, which will get applied to this layer. I'm going to click the 1 button. That's what it looks like with midtones 1. Here's midtones 2. It's getting better. Here's midtones 3. And yeah, that's doing it for me. Now I really like it, but I don't like how dark this is getting right here, and I'll show you how we can fix it. Now normally I only put mid-tone contrast in the foreground. In this image I want it everywhere because we have a lot of beautiful drama happening up there in the sky. I don't need to adjust layer mask anymore, so I'll click the X. Now let me shut off this layer. Here's before and here's after, but let's fix this issue right here. Whenever you've created a layer mask and you still need to do some refinement, think of blend if. Now come up to the multi-mask panel. We're going to click this button right here. We're going to go into edit blend if. Now these are dark tones, so I could click on no darks 1. That doesn't really do much. Here's no darks 2. Not really doing much, if anything. But here's what we can do. The location you see of these two handles, this is the No Darks 2 adjustment right here. And you can see this black area is not getting the adjustment. The pink areas or the magenta areas are getting the adjustment. So on either the bottom or top handle, hold your Command or Control key down. Keep holding it down and you could drag and those two handles will go together. Now I'll release my mouse click. See how that lightened up right there? And then you can adjust it going to the right or back, whichever you want. But I decided to go over to like right here. 61, 141. And now let me shut off the blend if and look at this cloud right here. here is before, and here is after. And all I'm doing is unchecking gray to see before and after. So these sliders can come in very handy. So Blend If is a wonderful tool that we're able to access through TK9 and make it very easy to use. I don't need Blend If right now. I'll click the X to close it. Nothing changes on any Blend If layers. All right, so far I really like what's happening in this edit. You know what? These reflections of trees in the water, I'd like to really darken them down by doing some burning on them. And some of the shadow areas down in here, I think that'll really look nice. So let's do that next. I'll do things a little differently this time. I'm going to my combo, or you could use the CX panel and click the left side of the burn tool. You're going to get a 50% gray layer in the soft light blend mode. Now this gray layer is nice whenever you want to use Edit Blend If, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's come up to the multi-mask panel, click on this button right here. We go into Edit Blend If, and now if you click on the double arrow magenta button, you can see we selected the whole image. Everything went pink, but don't be alarmed because I want to darken up those tree shadows because they sit in darks. So we could come and click on Darks 1. Everywhere you see the magenta overlay, that's that Darks 1 area. I can refine that. Let's go to Darks 2. See how that is narrowing down. And now let's go to Darks 3. And Darks 3 really hits the areas that I want. Now, I don't want to hit these trees right here, so I'll stay away from there. Now, I don't need the magenta overlay, so we'll click this button to shut it off. And now we're using a burn tool, so we have a black brush. Now, I want 100% opacity for the brush. If you don't have 100%, type your 0 key. And now with a nice soft edge brush, what we can do is just paint 100% opacity across here. See how those shadows start to really come out, the reflections, which is really what I want the viewer to see, those beautiful reflections in there. Now I'm staying away from those trees. So there we go. So let me go ahead and shut off this layer. Here's before and here's after. Isn't that nice? Before and after. Now, if you went up into this tree right here, you can make your brush a little bit smaller and switch to a gray brush. You see right here on the Combo CX panel, this is cool. Click this button, you get a 50% gray brush, and now with a nice soft edge, I can make sure that I don't darken these trees by painting with a gray brush. And I'll go over here just to make sure, but that's a really nice feature. Now, I wish there was a little more darkening here, but here's what I can do. Come to the Combo CX panel, click this button to duplicate the layer, and now we have two of these layers. If I shut this layer off, you can see that's with the first layer. Here it is with the second layer. It's too strong. So what I'll do is take the opacity of this layer and just back it off to like 70%. Now I'll shut both of these layers off. Here's before, here is after. Isn't that cool? I'm going to go ahead and click the X to close the Edit Blend If panel. Now I'm looking at these trees, these driftwood trees. What I want to do is bring out some detail. So we'll use a TK action. If your TK actions aren't open, click a TK button on the Combo or CX panel and then look for clarity, give it a click. A high pass filter comes up where you can make an adjustment. It defaults at 10 pixels. That's good for sharpening. I want a little bit more, so I'm going to drag this to the right. And I think right there, 16.2 gives me nice detail. I'll click OK. Now, right now, if I shut off this layer, here's before, here's after, but you can see details going everywhere. I only want it on the trees, so here's how we can handle that. Click on your object selection tool, and I have mine set for rectangle, sample all layers, and I have hard edge unchecked. I'm just going to click and drag right here and see if I can grab this tree. And yes, it's done a pretty good job grabbing that tree. Now it's missed the bottom part. Hold your shift key down and we can add to that selection, see if it gets it. Yeah, and it's done a pretty good job. It's missed this area right here. I'll hold my shift key down and see if I can grab that. Yeah, and it's got that. Missed this little piece right here. Hold the shift key down and grab it. Sometimes it'll be a little stubborn and it's missed this little piece right here. Hold the shift and grab that. And I think we're good there. Now we need this tree, so hold your shift key down. Holding shift just adds to the selection. That's very important. And now we selected all these trees. And now all we need to do is come to the layer mask calculator, click this button, click active selection, and click this button to apply it. And now when I shut off this layer, look at the trees. Here's before and here's after. So now we're only adding it to the trees. Now I'm looking at the beach area and the trees. Now remember, these are complementary colors, these warm tones against the blue. The blue is good, but what I'd like to do is enhance the warm tones a little bit, give them a bit more saturation. saturation. Now what I'll do is make a color mask to target these areas. Come up to the multi-mask panel, click this button right here. I want to sample this color right here and click OK. Now we don't see much here, but you see this button right here. It's a levels adjustment button. If you double click it, you'll do an auto levels adjustment. See how that gets lighter? Now what I want to do is take this brightness slider and drag it to the right almost the whole way over to like right here. I think should be good. But see, these clouds have some warm in them. I just want to tone that down. So I'm going to take this bottom handle and drag it more towards red. You see that, how that starts to drop out a little bit? Maybe somewhere like right about there should be good. And now we need to output this to a hue saturation adjustment layer. Click this button. And now let's take the saturation slider. We'll drag it to the right to increase that saturation. I don't want to go too crazy, but I think right there at 42. Now I want to darken that up a little bit, so I'll take this lightness slider and I'll drag this to the left just a little bit over to right there, -10. Now we got some nice complementary colors going on here. I want to keep these waves from getting too saturated, so blend if to the rescue. So come to the multi-mask panel, click the edit blend if button. These are light tones, so I'm going to try lights 1. That takes a little bit of that off. Here's lights 2, a little better, but I think I can make it a little bit better. Again, the magenta you see is where the adjustment is really hitting. So I'm going to hold down my Command or Control key, and you could drag either one of these handles. And I'll drag this handle to the left like that. See how I'm getting less of that saturation in the waves? And I want to keep going right there. 122, 202. Release the left click of my mouse. I don't need edit blend if now, so I'll click the X to close that panel. Next up, I want to darken the bottom of this image, like from here up to here. I'll use a gradient to do that, and then I want to close off the bottom. And then for the sky, I want to darken the sky down to right about here, and I'll use a gradient, and then I want to close it off at the top. I need 4 layers. Let me set them up. I'm going to come over to my combo panel, hold down your shift key, click the multiply button once, and then hold the shift and click the multiply button 3 more times. What you're going to get is 4 multiply brush layers. And basically all they are is curves adjustments without adjustments in the multiply darkening blend mode. And that's what I want to do, is darken up this foreground and the sky a little bit and close them off. Now we need to click on the first multiply brush layer to make it active. Then click on your gradient tool. Make sure you click on linear gradient. Don't have reverse checked on. Click your drop down, and if you have your free TK gradients, what I want you to do is open up the TK gradient folder by clicking right here and click this first button, white to black. If you don't have your free TK gradients yet, click on my link in the description below to take you over to Tony's web store and scroll down through until you find TK gradients. They're free. Just click to download, and you could click this link here to watch a video on how to install them that I made. So you're using the linear gradient, you're using the white to black gradient, and make sure you're using gradient and not classic gradient, okay? This is the live gradient. And then come down to the bottom of the image, click right around here, and we want to drag up. Now hold your shift key as you're dragging up. That'll make sure you maintain a straight line. So right about there. Now that's too strong, but if we don't want to see this line, we could click on the curves icon, and let's just pull this opacity the whole way off and build it up slowly. And I think right here at 21%, let me shut off this layer. Here's before and here's after. See, we just get that nice darkening in the foreground, adding some depth. And now we're going to close it off, so click on the next layer. We still have our gradient tool, so we could go ahead and click again at the bottom, click right about here and drag up again, holding down that shift key as you drag. And I just want to drag up to maybe right about here. Release the left click of your mouse. And then I don't want to see this line, so I'll click on the curves icon. And again, we're going to take the opacity of this layer, drag it the whole way off, and then just build it up slowly. And I think I'll take it to right there, 29%. Now let me shut off this layer. Here's before and here's after. Isn't that nice? It just closes off the bottom, keeps our viewer into the frame. Let's click on the next layer right above this layer. And again, everything is set up with the gradient tool. We haven't changed anything. This time I'm going to click like right here, click and drag down, holding my shift key as I go. And I'm going to take it down to like right about here. release the left click of my mouse. I don't want to see the line, so I'm going to click right here on this curves icon. And again, I want to take the opacity the whole way off. And now let's just build it up slowly. And I think I'll stop right here at 33%. Let me shut this off. Here's before and here's after. I like it, but you know, it's making my trees dark, but we can fix that. All we need to do is come to the combo or CX panel, click the layer mask calculator button, click on foreground, click minus to subtract it out. And we have our line there again. I'll click the curves icon so we don't see it. I'll shut this layer off. Here's before and here's after. Now it's staying out of the trees. And if we click the double arrow button, we can see what that mask looks like. And now let's click on the top multiply brush layer and close off the very top of the image. We still have the gradient tool, so we could click right here, click, drag down, hold your shift key to keep that straight. And I just want to take it down to like right there, release the left click of your mouse. And I don't want to see that line, so again, click on the curves icon. Let's take the opacity, and I just want to pull it back a little bit, and I want to take it back to right there, 86%. Now it's a little dark right up in here, so let's try blend diff. So let's click the edit blend diff button. This is a dark tone, so let's try no darks 1. Here's no darks 2. That helps it. I can make it a little better. So what I'm going to do, again, hold down your command or control key and grab the bottom or top panel. This will maintain this distance here. It's just a nice feathering that we're getting here. That's why I'm using this distance. Command or control click, and we'll start to drag this to the right, and we will stop at right here, 67,147. And see how that just removes that extra darkness right there. Now, if I uncheck gray, here's before and here's after. Isn't that cool? That's a great little fix there. We're almost done. I don't need edit blend diff. I'll click the X in the edit blend diff panel. I just want to reduce the blue saturation slightly in the sky. I'll do this differently than I did in the notes, just to show you there's many ways of doing the same thing in Photoshop. I'm going to come up to the multi-mask panel, click on the My Channels button, click on sky, and then click on this button to output this to a hue saturation adjustment layer. And then what we want to do is see this drop down where it says master, click right here, click on blues, and let's just reduce the blues a little bit. I'll take it over to right there, -23. Now let me shut off this layer. Here's before and here's after. We just reduced the blues a little bit in the sky. I went ahead and zoomed into the image because if you'll remember, when I started this edit, when I darkened the sky, I said we could have some artifacts, possibly some halos. So it's a good idea to zoom into your image and check it out. And this actually looks pretty good as I move around here. There are a couple little spots. I'll show you how we can quickly and easily fix them. I'm not going to fix them all, but I'll do a couple just to show you how it's done. What we need to do is stamp all of our layers together. This is important. Click this button on the combo or CX panel that stamps all your layers together and gives you a pixel layer. And then you want your clone stamp tool. You can just type S. That's the shortcut for the clone stamp tool. Make sure you set it for darker color. See where it says mode. This is a drop down. Make sure you select darker color. That's important. And now, make your brush about that size right there, and make sure you're set to 100% opacity. And then you'll notice along the edge here, you can see that little bit of a halo. So what I can do is Option or Alt click, like sample this area right here, and then just paint over that. You see that? It just totally removes that. Now you may have to resample when I get up in this area, Option or Alt click again, and just paint like that. And any of those light areas will just get painted away. I went ahead and moved to another area. You see inside of this tree here, when Photoshop made the mask, it didn't get these little areas where the sky is showing through. So again here, with that darker color mode, hold your Option or Alt key down, click out here, sample that, and just paint in here. Any dark areas will not get cloned, only the light areas. I'll do one more. I'll get this one right in here. Option or Alt click and just paint right there like that. But the clone stamp tool in the darker color mode will really help you to fix any type issues like this. So as you can see, it's not that hard to do. So just inspect the tree branches and fix anything that needs fixed. All right, then that concludes our edit. Now let's see where we started from. On the combo or CX panel, click this button right here. This is the overall before. We started out here, and here's the after. Now I'm really happy with the way this edit turned out. And I do hope that you download the image and the PDF notes and give this edit a try. It's a great way of learning how to use the TK9 plugin for Photoshop. Another TK Friday comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed today's full edit. If you did, please give this video a like, share it with your friends, and if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. Click that bell notification icon, click all so that you receive all notifications, and then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll get notified about it. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today in the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. I'll see you all right here next time, but until then, happy editing.